Just any injury updates on Moose?
He's feeling much better. We put him kind of on a strength program for his hips and for its biomechanical, just to kind of help him, because we don't want to. Again, we tried to take our time the first time, and then he had a reoccurrence, so we don't want to go through that again. And each time you have a reoccurring injury, it just doubles in length for recovery. So this one, if we really had to push him, we probably could get him out on the field in a week or two. But right now we don't feel like it's that necessary, because the team's playing really well.
Speaking of which, you brought a new centre-back in. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, no, Sievert's great. He's been here for about a month, actually. We were having some challenges with the paperwork and getting it sorted out, whether it was going to be a loan from the next pro or MLS, and then the visa issues. Right now it's a little bit difficult to get visas. I'm sure everyone's dealing with the same situation. But it's been really good because Sievert's been able to acclimate. He's been able to get to know the guys really well. We've been able to really evaluate him. He's a very good player, very big and strong, good in the tackle, good in the air, but great feet. He's I think he's going to be one to watch. I think when he was in college, he played as a holding midfielder, and he's kind of been moved back to center back, much like Kev. But he's got some very good offensive abilities as well. So we're excited to see how he does.
What was it that first drew you to him?
Well, we were looking for a center back, obviously, early on when we had some injuries with Niall and then Musa, and I've got a pretty good relationship with the guys up in Portland, and kind of reached out to them, and we had seen him in preseason a little bit, and they were looking for a chance to keep him somehow, and I think it just worked for both parties. It was perfect timing, and we wish that he could have played a little bit sooner, but again, sometimes these things just have a way of working themselves out.
And speaking of signings, you guys announced about a week or two ago the signing of 2 academy players.
Yeah.
Kind of, what do you expect from them, to see from them in the future, and what does it take to reach this team from the academy?
Well, for both players, Jacob and Josh, they've been around a lot. I think since they were 15, 16 years old, they've had opportunities to train with the first team. They've worked very hard. They've been doing an excellent job within our academy, and they've kind of both been leaders for our older academy team. And we signed them primarily as an opportunity to get them in regularly training, but maybe even to get them in a game this year before they go off to college. We expect both players to play in college and to do very well, but they've earned it. They've earned the opportunity, and we want our academy players to understand that if they work really hard and do really well, that they may get chances to play with our first team and hopefully beyond.
And of course, another signing in there from Hamilton High School. What is it about that school in particular that's making them such a pipeline?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just ironic, really, to be honest. But I know that, the school district in Chandler, I think in Hamilton primarily, has a soccer academy in the mornings where the kids take a class and they're playing soccer all the time. But there's, I think the Southeast Valley is loaded with talented soccer players, and we're really excited that we've opened up our Southeast Valley youth component to our club, and so now they're getting started. We've got all the age groups in that area. We've got the West Valley, the North, and all over town. And then this is really what it's all about, is that Phoenix Rising is, we need to be making sure that we're finding kids everywhere, and not only in Phoenix, but the whole state of Arizona. And it's just ironic that we've got 3 that have come out of Hamilton High School, but that's a credit to what Hamilton's done at their soccer program, as well as, just I think Chandler and Gilbert and the whole Southeast Valley in general.
Coach, you guys have gotten into the rhythm, 5 straight home matches, now you go on the road for 1. So how do you make sure that the routine that you guys have gotten into, that you can kind of keep that going under this?
Yeah, routines, it's actually a bit easier on the road to create, the routine of how we travel, when we eat, to keep them together, to really keep them focused. The big thing for us this week is to take advantage of the fact that we're playing on a Sunday. We had the extra day of rest. Now we have to prepare for a very good team. They're very difficult. Their movement and their rotations from LA Galaxy are top notch. And it's going to be a tough challenge. So we've heard that we're playing in the stadium, so it'll be a big, huge field. They really like to move the ball around and make you run. I expect it to be pretty warm. but we're looking forward to the opportunity to go on the road and to challenge ourselves. This group we have this year has shown that they deal with adversity fairly well, and they can handle change, they can handle adjustments. It doesn't matter what players are on the field, they're willing to fight until the very end, and that bodes well when you travel.
What difference does it make for you then playing in presumably the main stadium compared to the little track stadium?
A lot of differences. Mental environment. Sometimes in the main stadium without fans, there's really a lack of the air movement. It doesn't really move around a lot in there. The size of the field, the quality of the pitch. A team that really likes to play and knock it around, I think, can really benefit playing in there. For us, it's good because generally we're fairly athletic, and having a lot more room to run is good. But it also means you have to defend a lot more space. So I think it's going to be a big challenge for us, and we have to take into account all these different challenges.
And you saw them a couple of weeks ago, but given the way that these reserve teams can kind of change from week to week, how much can you rely on that?
I mean, they can only have so many guys. You know, I know that the first team is out of town the night before, so I'm not sure what that means for them. I'm sure they're flying back on charter, and there may be some first team guys that drop down and play in that game on Sunday. It doesn't matter. Like, we expect to play a very, very good team, a team that plays a very interesting style and with some rotations from the back four to a back three. And if you're not prepared for it, it doesn't matter who the players are.
There's been a lot of talk about the 6-game win streak. Do you think that puts any pressure on you guys going into this game?
Boy, winning doesn't create pressure at all, really. It's losing 2 in a row that created a lot of pressure. I think our guys right now are looking at it like we don't feel that we've played our best soccer yet as a team, but we're getting results, so that's all we focus on, is just one game at a time. And they know right now it doesn't matter what we've done. It's only that what matters is what we do this Sunday.
Well, routine came up earlier. Obviously last week and some of the other weeks you've had that midweek game. Now you've got that slightly longer week with the game on Sunday. Mm-hmm. How does that just change things on a day-to-day level for you?
Well, it's interesting you ask that question, and I'm sure every manager does the same thing. So, you know, everything is based on your game model and your game day. So game day -1, we do some very similar every week. It doesn't matter. -2, very similar. -3, -4. So you just work off of the game. For us, our Wednesday, you know, which is game day -3, we try to simulate a match as far as our workload goes, where we'll get our high-speed running in, we'll get our ACs and our DCs that are equivalent to a game, not a full 90 minutes, but that way that the body kind of gets used to playing Saturday, Wednesdays. So the fact that we have a week without a midweek game, it just allows us to kind of train it rather than have to play the game. So I think in the last 3 weeks we've been up somewhere around 30 kilometers a week, which is a lot. So we have to kind of make sure we're careful on how much distance we're accumulating over the season.
With Santi coming back, should we expect any rotation in the front line?
Well, we have been rotating quite a bit, so he's still not fully fit. You know, it's hard to come back from an ankle injury like that. You get your greatest gains in short periods of time, and he did. And I think now he's starting to realize that the muscles still aren't there, and the reaction, the proprioception, the balance, and the way that the body kind of manages an injury. I think he's starting to realize that it's a bit frustrating. It's like that last 10% takes a little bit longer than normal. So whatever we get out of him is a bonus right now.
You've come out of a period with a lot of fixture congestion, and yet come away with a win in every game. Mm-hmm. When you see other managers almost pointing at fixture congestion as almost an excuse, you know, what do you think about that?
Listen, I think that in years past I've been, you know, guilty of rotating the squad on Wednesdays because of fixture congestion, and in years past I think I relied too heavily on just 10 players. So I'm actually thankful that it came at the time that it did, because it forced me to give other players opportunities, as well as understand that sometimes we have to make tactical adjustments. Our players can handle it. They're more intelligent than I think that you sometimes as a manager give players credit for. this team has done a really, really good job of handling these changes. And, it would be one thing if we were like, I think some teams have played, where they say 7 in a month is a lot. Some teams have played 8 in 30 days or 9 in 30 days. That gets to be pretty challenging. And if you're playing every Wednesday in 4 weeks straight, that's too much. I think you shouldn't be doing any more than 6 and maybe 7 in a month, and that's it.
Kind of talking about learning from how you work the roster, when you have a congested schedule, just how enjoyable is it for you as a coach that all these years of coaching and you're still getting to learn something new every year?
Yeah. When I first took over, I had the idea that we would be able to coach a team that would adapt and adjust throughout the games, and I would be able to adapt and adjust, and I think it was just too soon. And we decided that there needed to be a philosophy first rather than a system of play. And the philosophy was to be aggressive, to press, to get after teams. We did it best in a 4-3-3 for so many years, and we haven't changed the philosophy on how we want to play, but now we're trying to figure out how to use that same philosophy in different systems, different formations, different styles in order to take advantage of our opponent's weaknesses a little bit. And it's also, I think in the first 4 or 5 games we gave up a lot of goals, and it was something we had to address, and the guys have taken it to heart. And so we've decided that maybe this group is one that we work as hard as we can to not give up goals, and we know we can find them, and doesn't matter how spectacular they have to be.
What do you think year one Rick would think of Rick today?
He would probably say, don't change the style or the system, just be better. And I think that it was a little bit naive of me and a little bit arrogant to think that I could just play the same system, forever. Because sometimes you don't have the same players. We don't have Solo Asante anymore. We don't have Adam John or Chris Cortez. And when you bring in a new player, you think that he's going to fit the mold, but he's a little bit different. Maybe mentally, technically, tactically, there's something a bit different about him. And it's my job then to take all those pieces of the puzzle and put it together, and hopefully you have like a Rembrandt or a Picasso, rather than a Rick Schantz painting. So, but I've always loved that part of the football, really, is looking at all the guys that have come in and figuring out the best way for them to be successful. And I feel like I trust the players and they trust me right now. So things are in a good place, but it's very early.
I might have missed it, but any update on Musa?
Yeah, they'll fill you in.
Literally just breaking news that Kev Lambert was named to Team of the Week. What do you think about his performance in the week?
I mean, if that was probably the most obvious. I know that the Team of the Week obviously is usually based on goals and assists, and if they're a defender and you score a goal, there's a good chance you're going to be on Team of the Week. But the amount of interceptions and blocks and aerial duels that he won. We looked at his statistics after the game, and I was pretty shocked and blown away at how well he performed. And he's just still learning. So I'm very impressed with how he's handled the change to center back.